Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome to Teacher Development Webinars. My name is Amanullah Sand. I facilitate virtual programs at Teacher Development Webinars. Teacher Development Webinars is a social action project to support teachers and educators around the world with professional development opportunities. It is an initiative using the rise in online professional development to connect people from around the world with opportunities which they may not have had due to the all normal of face-to-face conferences. And for this research webinar, I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Nadia Iftikhar. Ms. Nadia Iftikhar is a diligent, progressive, and dynamic lady who was awarded with Certificate of Honor by Forman Christian College, Lahore, for having secured first position in the Masters of Arts examination. She's working as assistant professor in the Department of English at Forman Christian College. Along with this, she is the academic advisor, proctor, and a secretary for Research and Review Club at her university. She has presented her research papers at various national and international forums. She is currently the member of a review board of the Journal of Education and Educational Development, Karachi. Moreover, she is external evaluator of MS thesis at Lahore College of Women, University Lahore, and GCU Lahore, and University of Management and Technology. It's a pleasure to have you at Teacher Development Webinars. Nadia, welcome to Teacher Development Webinars. Over to you. Yes, Nadia, you can carry on.
Okay, thank you very much, Amanullah, for providing me this platform to share my research ideas. Can you see my screen? Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, so the aim of this particular webinar is to introduce students to the different dynamics of research, because when it comes to research, most of the beginners get baffled. And in order to address their queries and in order to address their concerns, it's significant to talk about research. Because more than research, it's the planning of research that is important. Because mapping clarifies the ideas. Whenever it comes to research, we need to know that what is the particular topic on which we are going to conduct our research. Just take the example of going to a marketplace or going to a shopping mall. When we go there, we need to know that which particular thing is our need and for which we are here. And we go to that specific section, either we are going for grocery or shopping or any other thing. Similarly, when it comes to research, we need to have the map in our mind. We need to know that to which particular direction are we going when it comes to conducting a research. Most of the students confuse between write-up and conducting a research. They need to know that research and the process of research comes first and then comes the write-up. When we will be clear about the idea of research, about our planning, if we'll be clear about our planning, then definitely there are going to be less hurdles, and this will not hamper our progress in write-up. So the first thing that the students need to know, being the beginners or being the freshmen or being the ones who are new to research, is mapping. We have been into writing exercises ever since we are into our elementary classes or in our rudimentary, at our rudimentary level. We had been given the writing task, and we had been writing all through the times. But one thing that the students miss is that in order the pre-writing technique or the pre-writing skills that they need to have, if they will be having a mind makeup, if they will be having a concrete idea of what to do, how to do, and the procedure by which to do, then only then they'll be able to overcome the feelings of chaos. And sometimes the students get frustrated and they get really baffled. So in order to avoid this feeling of being baffled, it's significant to go step by step. And for that, we need to plan. The first thing that the student usually confuse about is the topic. When it comes to a research topic, usually they choose a larger bracket, a huge bracket. and a topic that is really difficult to cover in the given span of time. If the research is I do have a question simultaneously. I'll try to address the questions. uh, yes, we are talking about academic research and the research papers specifically, or the research assignments specifically. So when it comes to research assignments, because I'm from humanities, and I'll address the issues pertaining in humanities department, because science research is entirely different from research in humanities. So when it comes to research in humanities and the academic research, we need to know that yes, step by step progress can make research easy. And we need to plan the data first. When it comes to the topic of the research, it should neither be too broad, nor should it be too narrow that we find it too difficult to cover all the dynamics or the areas of the research, right? And if we have chosen the topic, we need to be very precise about the resources that are going to be used in that research. Usually it happens that when we do have the academic research, what do? We do need to have scholarly articles. We often confuse the scholarly articles with the blogs. So here is the point that should be there in everybody's mind, that blogs are not scholarly articles. We don't know who the blogger is and what is the source credibility. So source credibility is something that should be kept in mind, because if the source would be credible, only then our research is going to be authentic and our research is going to be accepted by the scholarly society. If the resources used in the research are not credible, definitely that our research will lose the source credibility, and it will lose the impact, and people would definitely not like to read our research. So in order to maintain that source credibility, we need to be confirmed, we need to be knowing that yes, we are taking articles, we are getting the articles from JSTOR, from any scholarly website, from the newspaper, or even whatever thing that is making up our mind for the research for that particular topic, that is going to be used by us as researchers. Sometimes it happens that we have watched a TED talk, and that instigated us to think on a certain streamline, or that has pushed us to think in a proper direction, in a specific direction. Even that YouTube thing, or even that, let me tell you, that TED talk will be used as a reference or a resource, and that can be cited in Works Cited. So you see that it's important that whatever we are using, we need to know that either it's credible, either it's appropriate, either it's something that is tangible, that is concrete, and that is published. One thing is really important, that unpublished data cannot be used in research. It's really significant that the data which we are using is published. And then at the end of the day, after collect, sometimes it happens that we do have the resources with us, we do have the data with us, and whenever the students are asked that what are they doing, they just tell us that we do have the data, but we don't know how to incorporate that data in our research. Here comes the point of planning. If we have planned the research earlier, prior to conducting the research, we have planned that what are the sources which are going to be used by us, and where exactly is the point when we will be using these resources or these sources. After planning the collection of data meticulously, at the end of the day, we just move towards the write-up. Simultaneously, sometimes it happens that we start the write-up, because sometimes the assignments are time bound, and we need to complete the assignments within the given frame of time. What do we do at that point? We start writing the introduction, and we believe that with the passage of time, we'll be able to collect more articles, we'll be able to collect more. Paraphrasing is important tool when it comes to writing your paper. Yes, I appreciate your viewpoint. I will definitely address this, that how much paraphrasing is important when it comes to, and we need to know the difference between paraphrasing, synthesizing, summarizing, because these are entirely different domains. Paraphrasing is different, synthesizing is different, and summarizing is yet another direction. So yes, write-up comes at the end, but the process of research is really significant at this point. Now coming to the next slide, how to plan your research. Yes, when it comes to planning the research, having a bent of mind towards research is significant, because we are not the first one to conduct a study on the said topic. We need to know the ongoing debate on that what are the scholars saying about that particular topic which we have chosen. So yes, having the idea of what research is and what is your topic, what is your contribution as a researcher. Because when we are going to give our input, when we are going to perform our duty, I would call it duty, because when you are a researcher, there is a responsibility of researcher to provide credible details which are really important for the researcher and which are important for the readers to know. For that, what does a researcher do? I mean, what you can do is that you need to collect data, the already established, the already published work on that. And for that, you need to read extensively. You need to read every single detail available on that. For that, you need to watch the TED Talks, you need to see the YouTube videos available on that. You can read the newspaper articles on that. If there are any TV programs on the said topic, because sometimes your research, when it comes to humanities, there are certain topics which are really contemporary, which are the recent phenomenons on which the talk shows are there, which do address these kind of issues. So whatever is related to your, I'm telling you that whatever is related to your research, because you took a broader topic, you narrowed it down. When it comes to research, I ask my students that what is the topic you want to cover, and they say I want to do work on social media. Now what particular domain of social media are you talking about? This is my question, because on social media everybody is talking about social media. Which particular dimension? That the more you use social media, the more gets work, because there needs to be a hook, there needs to be something that you need to carry. Because when it comes to choosing a research topic, we need to know that yes, this topic is having a hook in it, this topic is yet to be proved. Because when it comes to hypothesis, we know that this is the hypothesis and this is not yet proven. And in order to prove that, we need arguments, and for those arguments, the collection of those arguments is really significant. And this can only happen that if you are a researcher with a reasonable amount of patience in you, because research takes time. And if you have planned it earlier, definitely you are going to have less trouble. And having an aptitude for the research, having an interest for the research, because when the topic will be of your interest, you will be interested till the end. And if you will take it only as an academic assignment or only as something that carries marks, and you are bound to conduct this research because it's an academic paper or academic assignment, and this carries marks, that's why you are supposed to do this, then it's not going to work for you and you are going to be in trouble, let me tell you. So having an interest, having the topic of your interest, if you are interested in fashion industry, you can go for that. If you are interested in mass communication, you can go for that. If you are interested in novel or drama of literature, I'm talking about. So you need to know that, yes, this is the thing, this is the topic on which I am interested. And then coming again to the contribution as a researcher, that by providing the credible details, by providing the really, by choosing the data meticulously, you can make sure that, yes, I have chosen the data meticulously, and this really would give a cushion to my research. Now, another thing is having a realistic timeline in your mind. If you are a PhD candidate, you know that, yes, it's going to have 5 years. You are going to have 3 years or say 4 years, and at some places you are given 2 years time. And if you are talking about a term paper, you know that I only have 4 months, and you need to leave at least 2 weeks time for editing, proofreading, and making changes in your research paper. Because when you are working on a paper, you just get stuck at a point. So if you do have accumulatively, if you do have 4 months time, you need to give 3 months properly to your research, and 1 month, leaving 1 month for your proofreading and stuff. So coming to those 3 months, that how do you need to plan this in your in these 3 months. And when you will be having the timeline in mind, another thing that you need to know is the target audience, because whenever we are writing, there is an implied reader in our mind. Whenever we are working, or we are writers, or we are researchers, we know that there is somebody, there is going to be a community of readers. Now can be what can be there in our mind about those readers? That are they scholarly audience? Is this audience going to be from this domain or that domain? You need to know that what are their, how would this research affect your readers? Is it going to leave an impact on the readers, or is it worth it to read this research? For that, if it comes to advertising agency or marketing, we know that there are TV commercials, and they are always having a target audience in their mind. If there is a whitening cream supposedly in Asian countries, you would definitely see that there is a female in that advertisement, and the female is applying that cream on her face, and she's trying to look fair. Similarly, if there's going to be an advertisement of say any candies or anything eatable, which specifically is of interest to the kids, you will see the kids in the advertisement, because ultimately the advertisement is meant for kids. The target audience is the kids, so they will definitely cast the kids in their advertisement. Similarly, if the advertisement is supposed for the females, the target audience is the females, they would cast a female protagonist. They will cast a female model in that. By saying this, my whole purpose is that if the advertisement agency knows that who are the target audience and for whom they are producing this advertisement, being a researcher, you should know that what is your target audience and to whom are you writing this particular research. Though it's your own entirely, it's your domain, it's your research, and you are conducting this and you are providing the write-up, but still you need to know that what actually the audience needs to know, what actually the readers need to know about this particular topic. Coming to the next slide, please. Yes. When it comes to the planning of research, we need to have this checklist in our mind, because this checklist will definitely help us in completing our task within a given frame and producing a research that is credible, that is realistic, that is worth reading, I must say. So one thing is that, do I have a viable, the question is, it is also important to find a supervisor and stuff. Definitely, without supervisor, how can the students be streamlined, and how would they be knowing the exact pathway to follow the research track? So one thing is that, do I have a viable research problem? Is it workable in the given time period? Do I know the population of my research? Is the research question clear and focused? Is the question unbiased? Is there a room for argument and interpretation? Why am I talking about this checklist? Because sometimes it happens that just in order to complete the task, just in order to have our research assignment ready, what do? We hastily choose a topic, and then we get to know that ample data is not available on the said topic. So if we would have read the topics earlier prior to conducting the research, supposedly there comes a point in my mind that yes, it's everybody is talking about online education, then let's talk about online education. And I talk about the that online education ensures the quality of education. This comes to my mind because now when it comes to the larger bracket is online education, the narrowed down version or my supposition, my hypothesis is that online education ensures the quality of education. This is my hypothesis. This is yet to be proven by my um, by my research, that at the end of the day it would be proved that either in Pakistani scenario, because currently I'm a Pakistani researcher, so I need to focus on my premises, that in my premises either online education is going to work or not, or there are certain factors that would hamper the growth of online education in Pakistan. So in order to know that yes, what will work and what will not work, I need to plan it prior to conducting the study. And for that, what do we do? I need to know that the question that I'm asking, either it's a biased question or an unbiased question. Now, just take the example of general question that in our daily life, you need to know the technique of appreciative inquiry. If we would inquire in a negative way, definitely the response is going to be more or less negative. But if the question would be unbiased, if I ask somebody that how are you coping stress these days, you seem to be quite stressed. Now I have inculcated something in that person's mind that yes, the stress is there and you need to cope stress, and what are the coping strategies, without even realizing, without even knowing that is the person really undergoing a kind of stress or not. I have straight away asked that how are you coping stress these days. It means that I am instilling, I am inculcating that thing in the person's mind that yes, the stress is there. Similarly, when it comes to research and the research questions, sometimes what do? We start questioning without knowing, and we do have a bias in our mind. It usually happens in when it comes to feminism. Whenever it comes to feminism, usually the students try to prove at the end of the day that the women are living under miserable circumstances at so and so place. I do believe that yes, many women are living under the same circumstances, but how are you going to prove? If the question is biased and you are asking and you do have a certain frame of mind, even without conducting a research, it means that you are biased as a researcher. So your topic needs to be uh, your topic needs to have something that it can go towards any side. It can be this way, it can be the other way around, right? Realistic indeed, but sometimes your research goes far beyond what you have planned. Yes, I would say that sometimes the results can be altogether different from what you have conceived or you have perceived. Your perception can be entirely different, but the results can be altogether different. That's what we call research. But if the result would definitely automatically, naturally, and unconsciously be there in our mind prior to conducting the research, then there is no point of conducting the research. Then you can just simply write an essay on that. You can write and you can choose any medium of writing, and you can just provide your viewpoint on that. It's a perception analysis, maybe it's not a research. um, so yes, the other thing is that when the research problem, you need to find a problem that yes, this is the problem and this is the contemporary problem, and many scholars and researchers, newspaper articles, and the scholarly community is talking about this. I need to provide my contribution, that and my contribution needs to be slightly different from what others are offering, because if my viewpoint is similar to somebody's viewpoint, then what is the point of my contribution? So my contribution needs to be different, and in order to make my viewpoint more credible, I need to add the articles in that. I need to give a cushion of literature to that. Just take the example of because I'm currently talking to communicating to my whole purpose is to bracket off the complexities related to pertaining to research. So the students who are quite confused about the literature review, that we don't know what literature review is and how would we inculcate and how would we incorporate the views of others, and why would we incorporate the views of others in our research. To just in order to answer them, let me tell you that when you enter, I often give this example to my students. When you enter a cinema hall 10 minutes late, the movie is being showcased and the movie is being the screen is all set and you are just 10 to 15 minutes late, what would be your first question? What did I miss? What was happening earlier? Just in order to know the exact story, just in order to know the exact happening, you need to know the background of it. Similarly, in conducting a research, in order to know the background, you need to know that what are other scholars saying about this, what are other articles offering about this particular notion. And for that, you need to read the already established data, right? Coming to because next slide is about this. So we'll go to the next slide, which is specifically reviewing the literature. When you know the current debate on your topic, you have chosen a topic and you know that I have chosen the topic of online education, that does it ensure quality education, the quality of education would be improved or would not improve, that is still to be proven. But the point is clear that I am talking about online education. Now, prior to conducting the research, I need to know that what have others got to say about online education. That are the researchers saying that it's really important to have online classes because ultimately it's going to be the future of education maybe. Now I need to know that what if the research is saying this or stating this that online education is the future of Pakistan. I need to know the premises. Maybe this study is conducted in US and it's really easy and it's really tangible, it's really workable in US to have online education because of the availability of internet, good internet speed, and maybe the fine laptops and stuff. But in a country where 70% of the population is living in rural areas, where we do have electricity crisis going on in the country, where it's really important even in metropolitan cities to have electricity 24/7. How will it work in Pakistan? So you need to see the premises. Randomly you cannot fit any research in your research. If the premises is different, sometimes the results can definitely be different. Next comes the methodology. When it comes to primary resources, we need to be sure that primary resources can only be used if they are available. If you do have the primary data available, if the primary sources are there and you are directly in contact with the primary sources, you can definitely use the primary sources. Just let me give you the example of wartime diaries. Maybe the wartime diaries of women, we need to rip apart those diaries. We need to know about those diaries. We need to know the reflections provided by women at that time, that war has not targeted men only. Even the women who were there in the houses, they got affected by that, and their diaries need to be read just in order to know that what was going on in their mind and how badly they felt maybe left out at their houses when they were not being a part of the war thing and stuff. So the diaries written at that time, they were available at that time and they could have been used as primary resources. But what about today? If today we are going to conduct that study, we are not provided with those diaries anymore, maybe, or we need to read the already written articles on that. So sometimes it happens that we are not provided with the primary sources. We need to rely on secondary sources. And this we need to know, this entirely changes our methodology. If we are using primary sources and we are conducting a quantitative analysis, supposedly that the example I'm time and again giving you is of online education. The student body is present, the faculty is present, and all the stakeholders of academia are present. So I can definitely make a questionnaire, and I can take the interviews of faculty members, and I can ask that either it's workable for you or not. Either online education is going to be a plus for you, a positive for you to work with, or you are not really comfortable with online education. So my respondents are there, the population of my research is there, and I can rely on them for conducting the research. But when the audience is not there, then I need to change the methodology. I would rely on the articles provided on online education, that yes, these are the articles provided on. Or supposedly I am working about some other context. If I am working on Pakistani context, I am provided with the population, I am provided with the respondents. But if I am working on any scenario which is not to which I really do not belong, then I need to rely on other sources. That is qualitative. My research would be qualitative, and I would be relying on secondary sources. By changing the parameters, by changing the methodology, the results altogether get different. The conclusion can altogether be different. So, this comes under the umbrella of the larger umbrella of planning. If you have planned your topic properly, you have planned your topic meticulously, let me call it, diligently, let me call it. So if you have planned the topic diligently, that yes, this is the broader topic, this is the narrowed down version of my topic, this is the niche that I have found. Identifying the niche is important. That yes, the research from Germany is saying this, research from US is saying this or stating this. What is Pakistani context? What is my context? What have I got to offer? What have I got to say about this particular topic? And for that, I need to know my context, that what is working in my context and what is really not working in my context. Either it's going to be a workable project, either online education is going to be the future of Pakistan, and if happens, how much population is going to be benefited by this idea. So in order to have all these things, if we have read the already published data on it, we will definitely identify a niche. Everybody is talking about this, but nobody is mentioning this point, that under the circumstances where 70% population is in rural areas and there is no electricity and there is no internet and stuff, how would we work? So we have ultimately found a niche for ourselves. Whenever you choose a topic, just have a mental mapping for yourself. This is my topic on which this data is available. This has already been established. This has already been stated. But my context, the contribution from my context is still, to be planned. I am admitting the students time and again, because there are pop-ups, they are popping up on my screen, that there still are people who are in waiting list and stuff. So I'm just adding them with the passage of time. Okay, so your contribution can be of any type. Either it's going to be your parameters, that is your contribution, the context, the voices from your parameters, the methodology that you are using, or the conclusion. It's altogether different. It comes under the umbrella of planning. Only if you have planned it properly, then you will be able to do it. Coming to the last slide, which is final words about planning. And then we'll move on to question answer session. Yes. So we have particularly specifically chosen a topic on which already established, already published data is there. Sometimes it happens that we choose a topic on which it's a recent phenomenon, it's a current situation, it's a current thing, because owing to COVID-19, the educational scenario got disturbed. Maybe somebody wants to talk about it and there is no already published data available. What to do then? Then your methodology can be different. Then your methodology can make a difference. Then your conclusion can make a difference. It's not really important to, because newspapers are publishing articles on that. You can add those articles. You can add whatever is happening, whatever is recent. You can take primary sources. You can take maybe you can use observation as a tool, because sometimes it happens that we do not believe that observation can be used as a tool. But yes, observation is a research tool. If you are directly in contact with that scenario, you can use your own observation as a research tool. So you need to plan your topic, you need to plan your resources, you need to plan what would be the method used by you, you need to plan all the stuff, and because that is going to be helpful in achieving the goal, because it will give you a direction. I told you, I gave you the example in the beginning. You are in a marketplace, you need to know what are you going to purchase, why are you here, what, in which particular section are you going to go, because you ultimately are going to complete it in a given span of time. And then researcher would ponder on three important aspects: what am I doing, why am I doing this, and how am I going to do this. These are the pre-writing skills. These are the pre-writing techniques that you need to know, that what is the demand of my topic, what does my topic demand. My topic demands me to maybe my topic demands to have some primary sources, my topic demands me to have some secondary sources. So what exactly should be there in my research? So that is the planning thing that ultimately I need to do. Why do I need these resources or these sources? So after what comes the why part, that why do need, or why should I collect these kind of resources for my research? So, and how would I collect this, and how would I complete my research, and how would I make it credible? So in order to have a credible research, in order to contribute as a researcher, you need to address these questions: what, why, and how. And only by clarification, or only by having a clarification of your resources, you will be able to produce a credible research. So just summing it up: choosing a topic, from broader topic coming to the narrowed down topic, from that narrowed down topic identifying the niche by reading the already published data, and by identifying that where am I going to target. Either it's going to be the premises that is different, either it's going to be the methodology that is different, or either it's going to be the conclusion. How would I incorporate my understanding, my observation, and how would I complete this research? So I hope this planning technique will facilitate you in your research. Over to Amanullah.
Thanks very much, Nadia, for this wonderful session on planning the research. And we really got some insights from your talk, and we really appreciate your presence here today. And now the floor is open for questions and answers. Participants, if you have any questions regarding planning research, please feel free to use chat box. And I think there are some questions, but from your talk, there was one point that sometimes students, choose a topic, but there is not enough literature on this topic. So I was wondering, I thought, there is not enough literature on this topic, and I think that's where we need research. So what are your talks about, thoughts on this?
If the data is not available, if the literature is not available, you mean to
Yes.
say?
Yes.
Always repeated concepts. If with the specific topic you don't find any resources, you need to find the related or relatable articles for that. Let me just give you example of this online education. Straight away, if you do not find articles on online education, you can at least find articles about distant learning, or maybe on other related or relatable topics. You can use that always. You can add those, because there are researchers which when sometimes researchers choose a topic which are really in novice, and they are novel, and they are really new to the existing notions. So there you can use the related topics, I believe.
I see. Thanks for answering it. I see a question from Ruqayya Manzoor. She asked, what is the significance of theory as theoretical framework for conducting research? Can a research be conducted without employing any theory?
Yes, yes, this is the question, because sometimes the students unnecessarily use a theory, and I always call it, you have put it like a resin on the cake, on the top of it. You have just tried to incorporate this theory, and this doesn't match, or this doesn't fit with your thesis anymore. If your ideas are really clear, and if your thoughts are really clear, you don't need to use a theory, I believe. But sometimes it's the demand of the, if you are writing for a journal maybe, or if you are writing for if the demand is there, then you need to use the theory. In that case, you can incorporate the theory, but you need to be very rational in that is the theory working. You can use theory as a lens maybe, but you can always incorporate your own ideas. I'm sorry, we cannot hear you, please. Amanullah, we cannot hear you.
My bad, I was on mute.
Okay.
Oh my God. So yes, there's a question from Asifa Anam. She said that what are the significant strategies to follow before undertaking an academic research?
What are the strategies to follow before under that taking?
Undertaking
Okay.
an academic research.
Okay, for academic research, I had been talking about planning, and I believe that for academic research, this literature review is really significant, because this is the part where the students get baffled, and this is the part which students usually miss. They start reading the introduction, they start writing the introduction, and then they move on to writing the their own part. But what they miss is the literature review. For them, I would suggest that read the articles, the already published articles, that will facilitate you.
There's a wonderful question from Fernando, and Fernando asks that what advice would you give to a student who decides to change a research project because he got stuck, doesn't find enough resources after spending valuable time on it?
When the students don't get enough resources,
Yep. And they decide to
then
change the project.
choosing the topic meticulously, one thing that's what I believe, that why is planning important. When you choose the topic meticulously, you need to know that, am I having ample resources on this? Either they are primary sources sometimes, or the secondary sources, or photographs can be used, interviews can be taken, observation can be used as a tool. There the case studies are there. There are ample things that can be incorporated, so that you need to address first. In the beginning, you need to address that the topic on which I am working, either I am going to be provided with the with resources. So that comes first. The question, if you are stuck in the middle of your research, your chaos is natural. At that time, you are demotivated, I must say.
I see. Yes. Another question from Osama Hamad, and I have two questions. How can I defend my proposal? What are the common questions? And when I made reliability and validity on my questionnaire analysis, I faced a low validity and reliability. Is there any way to raise it? I think
it's the question of credibility again. It's the question of avoid using blogs in your research. I would again reiterate that by using the blogs, your research is at stake. You don't know that which blogger are you using, and either that blog is going to facilitate you, or that's going to be a question mark on your research. So edu, the educational websites of any university, which they provide, when they provide ample details, the government websites, if the credible details are there, the newspapers are providing, the scholarly articles are there, JSTOR is there, Alta Vista is there, there are ample sources. The search engines are there which are credible, so you need to incorporate things from there, I would say.
I see. And yes, let me see if there are any other questions. So there was a question from Alexandra Zapata from Ecuador, and she asked that how to combine qualitative and quantitative effectively.
I just saw a question on my screen as well, that how can you keep the interest of the students intact? So this is really a good question, that with the students, usually, when the topic is often your interest, you are doing it as something that you love. Because when I was conducting my research in my MPhil, the research project was as dear to me as my own child, and I still hold that thesis in my hand like a child, and I appreciate that these are the fruit of my efforts, you see. So when you put your energy in right direction, I would say that putting your energy in the right direction, in the positive project, is really significant. If you are baffled in the beginning, if you don't know about your resources, if you are confused at certain points, definitely you will lose hope and you will be demotivated. But if you know that yes, I do have material and I just need to have a write up, and I'm provided with all the details and I'm provided with everything, I'm clear that this is the need, this is something I need to work on, why would you be demotivated? You will definitely wind it up in the given time frame.
That's great. And there was a question around literature review. Someone asked that, is literature review really that important for conducting a research? He says, I heard that some of the organizations don't care about literature review.
No, it is. If you do not know what is happening, or what was happening before, and what is the current context, and what is the current debate on that, when we call it a discussion, I call research a discussion. It's not a monologue. When you consider it a monologue, when you consider it as your product, that yes, this is my product, it doesn't work at all. Always stay assured that research is a discussion, and you are going to address, you are going to say something to something. Somebody has raised a question, somebody has raised a voice, and you need to address that question. And for addressing that, you need to hear first, you need to be a good listener first, that what's the question. When you enter a room, there is a discussion going on, there is a debate going on. What do? You sit there for a while, just in order to gauge that what's going on, what is everybody saying, and then you provide your own viewpoint. That's what my point is, that literature review exactly does the same in the research process. Literature review gives you ample space to think, to ponder, to gauge, and to actualize that what is happening. So if you will miss this context, how will your research be credible? This is important.
I see. And Hadia Fayaz asked that, how many references should a research paper include, and does that affect its credibility?
I mean, research, the more you add the already published articles, your research would be more credible. That would show your aptitude as a researcher, as a reader, that yes, you have read ample detail, so that you are aware of different parameters, that what are different parameters got to say about this, number one. Number two, what are different conclusions on that, and how would my conclusion be different? So you see, these are the things that you need to keep in mind.
Yes, a question from Arshad Khan, and he asked that where we can find literature review for our research. If you could, suggest some of the resources or platforms.
I have already told about different platforms that we can retrieve articles from JSTOR and other search engines, and the educational websites maybe, or sometimes the newspaper articles, or the government officials or government institutions do provide their reports, so we can use those reports in our research as well.
ResearchGate is also one of the wonderful tools we can use as researchers. And yeah, if you have your profile or ID on ResearchGate, you can get access to the various kind of articles and scholarly researches. So I find it wonderful for my use. So that, I think that was it from our talk today. Thanks very much, Nadia, for your talk. I really appreciate your presence today. For all who are concerned about this recording, yes, it will be available on our Teacher Development Webinars YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and share with your colleagues. And we're available on all social media channels: Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So if you have any takeaways from this talk, kindly tag us at TD Webinars on Twitter and all social media channels to use hashtag TD Webinars. And for certificate, you can email on info.tdwebinars@gmail.com. We are having amazing line of webinars in next few days. So please keep following all our social media channels. So on Saturday, next Saturday, so next week we have the great Penny O talking about how to get get them engaged in talking English. It will be about speaking English. So yeah, I hope to see many of you there. Till then, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.